Hi, good morning. My name is Darcy. I have been spending a lot of time over the last couple of years trying to replace the products that we use in our home with more natural alternatives. So I started out with my hair care products, of course, by switching to Monete, and then I also started replacing my cosmetics and other things I use on my skin in the shower, things like that, with more natural alternatives. And then the third area, of course, was the things that we use in our home. So today I just wanted to take a few minutes and share some of the things I've learned with you. I am by no means an expert, but I have done a lot of research on this. So I just wanted to share some things with you today about that. I'm going to talk about cleaning products, dishwasher detergent, laundry detergent, essential oils. I'm going to just give you kind of a brief overview of each thing as I've done my research. So the first thing I just want to mention is there's a really great resource out there. It's called Environmental Working Group. Their website is ewg.org. They do a lot of research into products that are good for us and bad for us, and they post a lot of reports up on their website on all of the things I just mentioned. They have a database of like 2,000 cleaning products. They list them, everything gets grades between A and F. So you can go on there and look at what you're currently using, maybe products you're thinking about switching to, and you can see what grades they have. It's a really useful website. I'll actually post it down in the comments when I'm done with the video. But a couple of the things that I learned on there is that, first of all, just because a company puts a natural ingredient in their product doesn't mean that it's a natural product. For example, your favorite dish soap might be the dish soap you've used for 10 years. Next time you go to the store, you might see on the front label that it says, now includes essential oils. Well, that's great. That's great that it includes essential oils, but did they take out all the other stuff? Did they take out the other chemicals that are in your soap? Or did they just add some essential oils to it so they could put it on the label? Another important thing to keep in mind is just because a product is natural doesn't mean it's non-toxic. Some of the products even that I'm going to talk about today, just because they're better for you, they don't have as many chemicals in them, doesn't mean they're non-toxic. You know, natural cleaning products label still says do not ingest. You know, you still have to be careful where you keep them, where you use them. Just because they're natural doesn't mean they're non-toxic. So I just wanted to say those two things before I moved on. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is your scents and your fragrances. Whether it's, you know, the really good smelling plug-in fresheners from Bath and Body Works, the Glade plugins, things like that, or the spray air fresheners that we all have in our bathrooms. I used to have them in my bathroom. Things like that, candles, wax melts, traditional scented, you know, traditional ones that you just go buy in the aisle at Walmart, those all have chemicals in them, and they're not healthy for you or your family. So what you want to do is take a peek at what you're using and try to start replacing them with more natural options. They make soy wax candles. Some of the natural makers out there are making soy wax candles using essential oils. Those are better for you than traditional candles and melts. Same thing with air fresheners. There are companies out there that are making better for you air fresheners that you can use. The kind that spritz versus the kind that aerosol are better. A couple of resources that I use for shopping online for some of these things, because I'm in an area where it's not as easy to find these things at my local store. I like jet.com and I like luckyvitamin.com. Both of those websites are really great for having some of these alternative products at reasonable prices. So you might want to check those out. I'll put those in the links below as well. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Febreze is also not very good to use. It's got chemicals in there. You're putting it on your couch, maybe your comforter, your rugs. your dogs are laying on your rugs, your kids are playing on your rugs. Those are chemicals that you just put on there to make it smell better. So what you can do instead, vinegar is actually a really great natural cleaning agent. We use vinegar a lot in our house for cleaning. It's safe to use on fabric. So you can make like a vinegar spray if you want to spray that on things. Another thing you can do is you can make your own Febreze. I'm going to talk about making products a little bit more here in a minute. You want to be really careful with that, but there are ways that you can safely make your own Febreze type spray. I've also seen people talk about using, Monate has a pet refresher spray. They actually came out with several months ago for pets, for dogs. And I've seen people talk about actually using that in their kids' rooms, in their kids' gym bags, things like that. And that's available from Monate. Kind of people are using it kind of like Febreze. So that's something else that you can think about there. Moving on from scents and fragrances, I want to talk a little bit about essential oils, because one of the primary things you can replace artificial fragrances with is essential oils. So there's lots of different brands out there of essential oils. You guys have probably heard of doTERRA and Young Living. They're the two primary like network marketing company essential oils. You can buy from them. From what I know about them, they're both great companies. Their oils are pure and good, but you don't have to. You can actually buy other brands online. You just want to make sure you don't want to just go grab any brand off of Amazon or Walmart. You want to make sure what you're buying is a pure essential oil. And a couple of brands that are really good are Plant Therapy and Eden's Garden. Actually, most of the oils I buy are Eden's Garden. They have a website, edensgarden.com. I'll link it up in the comments below. But you can also buy a lot of them on Amazon. So they're really good. They're pure. If you do a Google search on, best essential oils to buy, you'll see Plant Therapy and Eden's Garden in those lists. One thing I really want to stress about essential oils is kind of back to the whole just because it's natural doesn't mean it's non-toxic thing. When the essential oils got really popular, I think everybody just started using them. They put them on their skin, they dump them in their bath. Some people put them in their water and they drink them. That's not something I recommend at all. I know a couple of the companies will tell you that theirs are fine to ingest. I just don't think they've done enough studies on that, and I wouldn't do it if I were. I don't do it, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else do either. But anyway, so you want to be really careful when it comes to starting to use essential oils and to make things with essential oils. You want to make sure you're following tested recipes. The Plant Therapy company I mentioned, they have a blog and they do a lot of education on the proper use and formulation of essential oils. For example, water does not dilute an essential oil. So if you put an essential oil, a few drops of it in your bath or in a spray bottle, it might make the water smell really good, but it's basically like you're putting pure oil on your skin. And some oils, they say that you can't have an allergy to an essential oil, but you can have a sensitivity to one. So especially like the citrus oils, they can cause reactions on your skin. It's actually happened to me in the past. I used to make my own body spray, and also I was making facial toner before I knew there was a wrong way to do it. So for my body spray, I was basically taking witch hazel and water and dropping essential oil in it. And I made an orange spice one and I sprayed it on my body. And I got this terrible, like red, itchy rash sort of thing. And I just thought it was from that essential oil. Well, it turns out it was because I wasn't actually formulating it properly. Actually, to make body spray, you need to use pure alcohol like Everclear, which you can't even buy in Minnesota. I had my mom buy me some over in South Dakota. But again, if it's something you want to look into doing, it's easy to make your own things. There's some base supplies you have to buy, but make sure you're using those tested recipes. You don't want to go on Pinterest and grab the first recipe that sounds good. A lot of them say that you can just dilute it with witch hazel and water. That's not true. It's just not true. I was also making facial toner with witch hazel, aloe vera water, distilled water, and essential oils. I thought I had a great recipe. I actually did a blog about it over on my blog. Never had any adverse reactions on my skin, but I learned that I shouldn't be doing it that way. That's a way to grow bacteria in my facial toner, and so I deleted my blog post. And actually, I'm just buying it right now from Thayer's because they make one almost just like what I was making, and I love it. But the point I'm trying to make is you just want to be careful. They are safe. They are natural, but only if you use them properly. Diffusing these in a diffuser is also really cool. They make diffusers. You just plug it in. You put the oil in there with distilled water. In that case, water is fine because you're putting it just in the air. You're not actually putting it on your skin or anything. But that kind of can also replace those air fresheners we talked about too. So just another option there for you. Okay, moving on from the essential oils, something I feel really strongly about, sorry. Let's talk about home cleaning products. So recently, in the last few months, I discovered Truman's cleaning products. They're a really cool company. They are trying to minimize waste. So what they're doing is they have a set of 4 cleaners. They're sending out a starter kit with four of these really nice bottles and these cartridges. This is the cleaning cartridge right in here. So basically you get it in the mail empty. You stick the cleaning cartridge in here, you fill it with water, and then you have a full bottle of cleaner. They make, it's a kitchen cleaner, bathroom cleaner, floors, and windows. So it's a set of 4, and when your cleaner is gone, you just go on there and buy a new starter kit of 4 more cleaners. I think you can sign up for a refill plan, and then it's $15. If you don't want to do a refill plan, you just want to go buy it one time, then it's $18, but it's got free shipping. I actually am an affiliate with them, so I have a 20% off coupon code. So if you buy it with my link and my code, you can get a starter kit for 20% off of the $18, and it has free shipping. The cleaners are non-toxic, they smell really good, they work really well. I used to clean my stove with apple cider vinegar, and I now use the Truman's kitchen cleaner. It actually cleans my stove better than the apple cider vinegar did. So they're a pretty cool company. They're, in addition to the non-toxic cleaners, they're really trying to eliminate waste by having these recyclable bottles. So I think that's pretty cool too. Another company I wanted to mention is Norwex. A friend of mine sells Norwex. I'll put her link down in the comments below too if you guys want to check that out at all. But their primary philosophy, basically, in addition to the cleaners they do sell being non-toxic, they sell a lot of different microfiber cloths and mops and things that let you just clean with water, basically. So you're cleaning with water and the mop or the rag or whatever it is for what you're cleaning. And so you don't have to use those harsh chemicals in your home. I have a bottle here of their Descaler. I actually use this in my kitchen. So they do have cleaning products too. So that's just another company you can check out if you'd like. A couple other things I wanted to talk about there cleaner wise. I mentioned vinegar already. Vinegar is a really great thing to have in your house for cleaning. You can use cider vinegar or white vinegar. I'm sure different people have different opinions. I don't really, I mean, vinegar is vinegar kind of. If you're not eating it, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference, I don't think, unless I'm wrong. But another thing you can do, which I've done before, is if you have citrus peels, you can actually put your citrus peels in a jar, fill it up with white vinegar, and let it sit for a couple of weeks or whatever. You take the vinegar, strain it off, and then you have citrus vinegar. So that's something that's helpful to use in the bathroom and the kitchen. Adds a little extra punch to your vinegar for cleaning. Another thing I've read about is hydrogen peroxide. A lot of hospitals actually apparently use hydrogen peroxide for their cleaning and disinfecting instead of bleach. Bleach is a pretty harsh chemical. I know we all buy it, we all use it. I use it too. Sometimes you just need bleach, but Hydrogen peroxide might be a good alternative for you to try out and see if you like it. Okay, let's move on to dishes and laundry. I actually cannot share with you what I'm using on my dishes. I have dish soap and dishwasher detergent and a dishwasher booster that I thought were all from a really good company. And in my research for this video, I discovered that EWG.org says that my dishwashing products score an F. So I learned something too. Even when you think you're buying better products, sometimes you aren't. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research and find something new to use for my dishes. You know, once you get familiar with the labels, the ingredients, that EWG website, it's a lot easier to find alternative solutions, you know, for the things that you use in your home. Laundry detergent, I actually make my own laundry detergent. It's got borax and Arm & Hammer washing powder and grated Fels naphtha soap. You can get all three of those things in the aisle, usually at Walmart, depending on your Walmart. You can also lots of times find them at your grocery store, depending on your grocery store. If you try to buy them online, the products, they're actually getting kind of expensive online. The last time I tried to buy borax online, I couldn't believe how much it cost. So I think it's just kind of regaining popularity as people are picking up on all this natural stuff. But that's how I make my laundry detergent. I also used to put a bottle of the scent beads in there, and then I realized I was kind of defeating the purpose because I was making all this natural stuff and then I was putting the chemical scented beads in there. So the last batch I made, I didn't actually put those in, and we haven't noticed a difference. So that's how I do that. It's a pretty basic recipe. You can find it online if you look, or else I'd be happy to share mine with you too. Dryer sheets. I haven't used dryer sheets in like 5 years. I use these dryer balls like this. They're reusable. They are good for tons of washes. I use 3 in a load at a time. You can actually take that essential oil and put a few drops of it on the dryer ball and put it in the dryer with your laundry to get that extra scent if you want. You don't have to do that every load, you know, just every 4 or 5 loads or whatever you think. Just something a little extra you can do there. Okay, let's move on to pest control. I have 2 dogs, 1 cat, and 3 chickens. So a few different things on pest control. First, we usually get an outbreak of ants in our kitchen about once a summer. Tiny little ants you can barely see. They get in the dog food and the cat food, and it drives me crazy. So this year I saw a couple in the windowsill, and without even thinking, I went out to the hardware store and I bought a pack of those peanut butter scented ant houses. The ants go in there because of the peanut butter smell, and then they take it back to the colony, and you know, then they go away. They work really well. So I went and grabbed some of those, and I thought I put them around the house in the kitchen where nobody would be able to get them. And I kind of forgot that dogs love peanut butter, and it wasn't my smartest moment. And I turned around, and my Brittany Spaniel had one of the ant traps in his mouth, and he was chewing on it. And so I panicked because I didn't know how long he had had it in his mouth or if he had gotten any other ant poison. So I remembered that my mother-in-law always tells me that if you need your dog to throw up, you can give him hydrogen peroxide. So I Googled it, and it said that the dog needs, what is it? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. 1 teaspoon of hydrogen peroxide for 10 pounds. Well, he weighs 50 pounds. So I put 5 teaspoons of hydrogen peroxide in a cup, and I shot it down his throat like it was a shot of liquor. And I felt really bad for him. He gave me this look like, Mom, what did you do that for? But I just needed him to throw up because I didn't know how much of that ant poison he had gotten. So I did that, and about 10 minutes later, he was outside and he was sick, and then he was fine. But my point is that, you know, alternatives are better. That's why they're alternatives. So One thing I found on Google is cornstarch. If you find ants, you can put cornstarch where they are, and they actually ingest that cornstarch and take it back. They take it back to their colony on their feet and stuff, and then everybody else ingests that cornstarch, and it makes them die. They can't digest it. So cornstarch instead of the ant houses. Next time, that's what I'm going to do. So that's the first thing. Another thing is diatomaceous earth. I don't know if I said that right, but I just bought this huge bag of this on Amazon last week. It's good for repelling fleas. We try not to put the flea and tick medicine on our dogs unless they need it. I know it's supposed to be a preventive. We just don't like putting it on them. So unless there's a problem, we don't use it. So this diatomaceous, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that stuff is supposed to repel fleas. It's also really good for chickens to keep the bugs off chickens. It's really good in the garden to repel bugs from the garden. One of my friends told me the other day it actually repels snakes as well. So if you're in an area where you're trying to keep snakes out, maybe you don't want to use mothballs because you have pets, kids, you don't want them to get it. Diatomaceous earth is, from what I understand, like ground up beetle shells. So it really is all natural. It's food grade. Humans can actually eat it if they want to. I don't really know why you would, but it's food grade. You can eat it. Your chickens can eat it. So it's safe to put around to try to repel bugs. Another thing that's good is borax. I mentioned borax in my laundry soap. If you're in an area where there's roaches, cockroaches, palmetto bugs, whatever, you can use borax in your cupboards, in between your stove, behind your stove. In the places where the roaches might be attracted to, you can use borax, and it should help repel them. So that's another way you can use borax. Those are all the categories I wanted to talk about. So just like to wrap it up, I just want to say, like, Google is your friend. In addition to that ewg.org website I mentioned, you can also just go on Google and do a search. Maybe you want to learn about a more natural way to, make dish soap. Yeah, maybe that's not a very good example, but you know what I'm saying. You want to find a more natural way to do something, like how I Googled more natural way to get rid of ants, and I learned about the cornstarch. Just go on there and ask Google. And you do want to kind of be careful because there's a lot of misinformation out there. I mentioned that with the essential oils. Anybody can publish a blog, anybody can publish a book. It doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. Maybe I said something wrong in this video. Nobody knows everything. So just be careful of where you're getting your information from. That's why I mentioned the EWG website, the plant therapy website for essential oil recipes. You just really want to make sure that you're using good recipes and reading good information. I mentioned a lot of these products, but as far as when you do that research and you find those recipes, if you want to make some of your own things, once you get a base of supplies, that's really what you need to make a lot of different things. So for example, liquid Castile soap, I didn't mention that yet. You can make a lot of things with that. Dr. Bronner's is a popular brand. You can buy it by the gallon online. It's not expensive. I buy the baby kind, it's unscented. So you can buy that. You can use that for a variety of things. Vinegar I mentioned, borax I mentioned, essential oils. So if you get a base of those things in your home, then you have what you need to make a lot of the recipes that you'll run across. I already mentioned being careful of Pinterest recipes. Nothing against Pinterest, but sometimes people just don't know. Sometimes they think they're sharing something really helpful and they're sharing bad information. So just, there's a woman, I think her name's Jan Berry, with Berry. She has a book all about making your own skincare and products for your home. You can get it on Amazon. I think it's like $15. She's a good resource. There's lots of other books on Amazon too. But again, anybody can publish a book. So just, kind of keep that in mind. Checking the reviews is a good idea. maybe Googling an author's name to read more about them is a good idea. So just do your research. You know, all of us, we're doing this to try to buy safer products, make safer products. So if you're doing all the work to do it and then you find out your resource was bad, you know, it's just a waste of time and you're not really any better off than you were before. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But hopefully this was helpful. I can't see the timer on here. I don't know how long I've been rambling at you guys, but hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to put some links down in the comments below. And if you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks so much.